So Penguin fans clearly are exhausted. I clearly look ragged from covering this series. How do you think the guys that just took this sheet of ice feel for what could be their last off-day practice of the season? Pretty simple situation facing the Penguins. Wednesday night, Game 7 at the Verizon Center in Washington. Either they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals or they're going to shake their hands and wish the Washington Capitals well as the Capitals go to the Eastern Conference Final. That is why Game 7 in hockey is basically the best thing in sports. And if the Penguins are going to win this Game 7, remember they lost Game 6 after playing really well for large stretches. That's been the case this whole series. They really might be able to use the help of a certain defenseman who hasn't played the past 2 games. Sergei Gonchar, injured in Game 4, his right knee, spoke about the hit that put him on the shelf and whether or not he thinks he can return in a Willis Reed type moment for Game 7.
Can you tell us how it feels and how strong it is?
It doesn't really matter because tomorrow is the day when we're making a decision, and tomorrow we'll see how my body reacts, and tomorrow is the day when we have a game. So I'm waiting till tomorrow and then we're making a decision.
There was a dirty hit that he tried to hurt you?
I have my own opinion. I'm not going to comment on that.
Now, of course, the decision to play Gonchar is ultimately going to rest with Coach Dan Bylsma. It's going to be one of his big first tough calls as coach of the Penguins. Since Bylsma replaced Mike Therrien on February 15th, he's made a few very difficult decisions along the way. He took Peter Sikora, a good friend from his days together in Anaheim, out of the lineup, placing him with Miroslav Shatan, a move that's worked pretty well for the Penguins. Shatan's been a pretty good player for them in this series. But now we're talking about, do you let Sergei Gonchar, with his banged-up right knee, play at less than 100% to provide as not only an inspirational boost, but to provide as a steadying influence on a young Penguins team that hasn't had a whole lot of Game 7 experience?
Dan, how does Sergei look?
I think he looked good out there, and I said he's been progressing, and we knew at some point he would be getting back on the ice, and but this is the first step, and we'll see how he reacts, and probably see him again tomorrow out there and go from there. This is the one area where I'll give the media all the credit. Everyone predicted this one would be 6 or 7, and it's been 2 teams with different types of talents and different types of games, and they've showed their game, we've showed our game, and it's resulted in some great hockey, and it's going to all play out in Game 7.
Hal Gill, the Penguins' veteran defenseman, has played in Game 7s before. In fact, he spoke today after practice about losing a Game 7 and what that feels like. Now, remember, the Penguins know what it's like to end their season in miserable fashion. They lost the Stanley Cup Final last year on home ice in Game 6 against Detroit. But somehow I think shaking the hands of the Washington Capitals, a team most of these players clearly don't like, would be, I don't know if equally bitter, but not far behind. And Gill said the thought of losing a Game 7, you have to take it out of your mind, but you also have to remember what it's like to lose. The memory of sort of the bitter summer that you guys had helped to serve as a reminder of what's at stake here.
Yeah, it's no one wants to go out ever, especially in a Game 7 when it was that close to us yesterday, and we were right there. It makes you a little more hungry to go out and get it tonight or tomorrow night, and it's fun. We have a chance to go out and do something good here.
Going into a Game 7 when there's nothing but moments of pressure, Penguins captain Sidney Crosby said the way this series has played out maybe prepared the Penguins a little bit for the first Game 7 for this, right? I mean, you dream about this as a kid, right?
Yeah. I look back, growing up, watching a lot of Game 7s, and this is my first one. I never played one in junior or at any level, so it's a great opportunity. Yeah, I mean, it's clear. It's a Game 7, and like I said, somebody's going home, and there's not much to really think about besides leaving it all out there, and we're confident in our team, and it's a great challenge, but we have the confidence that we can do it.
But at the end of the day, I think Game 7 comes down to one simple thing. Their goaltender, the $5 million man, Marc-Andre Fleury, he hasn't stolen a game in this series. That's coming in Game 7, or so the Penguins hope. For Trib Total Media, I'm Penguins beat reporter Rob Rossi.